It's probably no coincidence that the fall in active users for Robinhood lines up almost perfectly with the rise in active users for sports gambling apps like DraftKings.
I've lost over $400,000 in the last 7 years due to my addiction.
When it comes to stock trading and trading apps, I didn't realize that a lot of the things that I was doing were actually just gambling.
Okay, it seems like right now more people are investing into the stock markets for their future to build wealth compared to any other time previously. And I think that's primarily because of the ease of access that we all have. Just from our phones now, we don't really need anything more than that. But I've seen increasing amounts of people with gambling addictions hiding their behavior behind investing in the stock market. Overall, this could be just as detrimental as going to the casino or betting on sports. And I think this is flying under the radar because at the same time, there are people who are building generational wealth from the exact same stock market. And there's not too many people doing that, betting on the Knicks to win.
Every one of us is used to seeing impulsive, reckless gambling on Wall Street bets. We all remember the likes of Anal Farmer 2, who YOLO'd his way to $700,000 and then back to zero. Or Irony Man, who thought he broke the code, but in the end, only broke himself. And who could control the narrative, who Robinhood glitched his way to eternal dominion as the king of Wall Street bets.
Clearly, a lot of these users are not being realistic about generating consistent investment returns. They're gambling. It's probably no coincidence that the fall in active users for Robinhood lines up almost perfectly with the rise in active users for sports gambling apps like DraftKings, FanDuel, and the various casino offerings. A report by Bloomberg found that these investors were taking their money out of stocks to top up their accounts on these platforms. And really, they have about the same chance of hitting a 5-leg parlay as they do making money on a 0-day to expiry out of the money call option on orange juice futures.
And I think this is a whole different beast than somebody who's a gambling addict for the casinos or lottery, which a lot of people just say is a poor people tax because of how small of a chance you actually have of winning. But pulling that lever or playing roulette, any of those games are pretty depressing if you end up seeing that in person. But right now, sports betting is the new cool thing because it's all about sports. It's the NBA, it's the NFL. You get a lot of that crowd, which is a lot of the frat sports fans, kind of normalizing just betting on any little thing for the game. Not even just, oh, who's going to win? You know, this team or that team. It'll be the amount of plays or the amount of yardage. You could honestly really bet on anything. And because of that, the popularity of practically nobody's making tens of millions of dollars like we saw with the GameStop squeeze and the entire explosion of Wall Street bets, it gives that false hope to a lot of people who could click a couple buttons on their phone and be able to get into the action, even though this is just as bad as the old people that you'll see in clips just clicking buttons non-stop. It almost seems like it's staged because I don't really know how that's entertainment, but this is kind of the modern day age version of doing that, and they're getting an entirely new crowd, all the sports fans that'll roll back and forth between sports betting and investing in the stock market. A lot of people end up making jokes about it, you know, oh, you were just one bet away to win from the jackpot. There's other excuses where, say, even if you do lose money in the stock market, you could take the losses and write it off on your taxes. But if you actually know the rule, you're only allowed to write off up to $3,000 worth of net losses against other forms of income, such as wages, taxable dividends, and interest for the year. So if you go over that mark, you have to wait another year to be able to write off that kind of money. And unfortunately, with how much gambling is advertised, I could see a lot more people losing way more than $3,000 going back and forth, switching from sports betting back to Robinhood with very volatile cryptocurrencies are just as bad, and I don't think a lot of people even really know it.
When it comes to stock trading and trading apps, I didn't realize that a lot of the things that I was doing were actually just gambling. I was trading options, thinking that if I studied theta, studied decay of the options, and really tried to time the market, that I would figure out how to make consistent money doing very short-term trades, sometimes day trades. Of course, this was me being completely delusional, and I was essentially just playing a slot machine or roulette, thinking, is it going to go up or is it going to go down? Taking my best guess and then losing my money. Also, I was investing in like risky biotech stocks and single stocks, whereas investing to me is something where you're going to buy and hold an asset for a very long period of time, 10 plus years. So if you're on that end of trying to make money quick, you're trying to flip a quick return, and you're not realizing that the average S&P index returns 6.6% after inflation any given year, you probably are gambling and don't even realize it. If you reach the point where you're consistently putting too much money into it and you're wanting to stop, please come and check out my account because I'm in recovery from a gambling addiction and I want to help you avoid making the same mistakes that I did.
And I think a lot of people are going to be on similar boats to this guy. All of the DraftKings and online sports betting has really exploded. Like I said before, the Wall Street bets, seeing a bunch of nobodies making millions of dollars off of GameStop, even though virtually nobody knew that it was actually going to happen. Same thing with any of the cryptocurrencies. Sorry for the weird jump cut, but I forgot to mention what happened last night, at least at the time of my recording, and that was basically just being able to bet on who was going to become president on Robinhood. So you have all those sports betting guys that took their money out of Robinhood into DraftKings after they were losing at day trading or option trading, and then you could go right back and bet that Harris or Trump's going to win. And as the results were slowly coming in, a bunch of cryptos started rising very quickly. We had Dogecoin at 27%, we had Bitcoin at a little bit over 8% return, and Ethereum at about 7%. And as of today, it's still rising. So you got a lot of those sports bettors taking their money out of DraftKings, putting it back into Robinhood, betting on the president, and seeing a bunch of volatile cryptocurrencies start going all over the place. Most of them have no idea what they're actually doing, but they probably see some people making really good returns very quickly, and they'll just start dumping money into it, basically gambling. And of course, people are going to take advantage of this, where this is the dream to be able to get rich off of options trading or any of the cryptocurrencies over the veil of investing. And you have, just limitless amounts of people like this, whether an options trader, here's the YouTube, the ebook, and of course there are tons and tons of different courses on how to be able to day trade, even though if they were really that good at day trading or investing in the stock market, they wouldn't need your money from these courses. They would make enough on these returns. There would be no need to teach you what they're doing because they made a livelihood from it. But it is always just selling the dream. And there are the same people on the other side of sports betting who will get people to pay for their picks on what they believe will happen in any sort of game, whether it's winning or any of the individual player bets, which I just think is wild to me because, again, there are YouTubers who have taken those courses, done exactly what they were supposed to do from these betting gurus, and they end up losing money. So I just don't understand how that's still a thing, but unfortunately it's crept into investing, and that has been an excuse for a lot of people as well. And you could look all across the internet and see stories of people gambling in the stock market, losing hundreds of thousands of dollars like this.
Hi guys, my name's Harry. I'm a gambling addict in recovery. I'm 25 years old. I've been an addict since I was 18. I started out when I was 17 going to the pub, as Rebecca said, after starting my apprenticeship, and going to the pub and just with the older boys and playing pokies, only small bets, which then the day I turned 18 I downloaded my first online bookmaker and I was offered a deposit match on the first one I got. Within a month or so I was hooked. I was losing everything I was earning. I've lost over $400,000 in the last 7 years due to my addiction, and I've probably been offered, over $100,000 in deposit matches and bonus bets.
So of course, with this being an increasing issue with the economy downturn, there are more people just betting on everything to hopefully make their lives better, and they can make a ton of money and they don't have any issues anymore. It has really become that simple where you don't even have to go to the casino or the bookmaker anymore. You could just download a couple apps and trade options and think that you're different than any of these other gambling addicts going to the casino or betting on sports. You're an investor just like all the people on Wall Street, and that is just not the case. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.